I've always been able to like, oh, well, that's fine. I'll make the money out. And so because of that, and I've had really good success being risky. I've been risky. I will invest. I'll take a step back to make more money going forward. I made big moves at a really young age and it worked. And it's really been my MO, if you will. But now that's a different identity that could be sabotaging me in other ways.
Yeah.
Because again, I'm choosing an archetype around that and a belief system.
Yeah. Hello, I'm Jeneth Blackard.
And I'm Lyanca Reina.
Ain't it fun having friends that support the elitist dreamer in you?
This podcast is for the way too much unrealistic seeker.
Tune in every Tuesday and have fun up-leveling.
This is the Hot House of Podcast.
Today, we are talking about the crystalline nervous system for wealth, abundance, and money. And we will hit on the solar plexus and some of the chakras and how they relate in a very much deeper way than a lot of yoga teachers talk about chakras just on the surface. So I think this will be enlightening for you guys. Yesterday, when I was like, we need a topic. But first, I just want to welcome you back. I'm back in the studio. So happy to be home with my animals and my joy. Let's go into our topic, and I'll try to do my best at clearly communicating this.
I know, and it's fun how you'll like bring in all of that, and then I'll sit down and I'll be like, blah, 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 blah. And you're like, oh my gosh.
and to boot, gosh, if you didn't hear Tuesday's show, please go back and listen, because I really feel like this is a build on from last Tuesday, especially, and then some on last Thursday. And now we're back again because we're still getting ready for this like amazing summit. So we just wanted to have a few times where we could have conversations with you guys on our own, because the summit is full.
It is definitely full. It's got 3 speakers a day, starting at 11 a.m. Central or 9 a.m. Pacific.
This started with us talking about chakras and the solar plex chakra.
Yeah.
And if you've noticed, a lot of my hypnosis and meditations, they really have this golden circle. And that reminds me of what really this chakra is all about, this like golden light, that we've probably taken some of that light away through a lifetime of being beaten down, told us how to do this reality, told us we're wrong, told us to hush, hush, little girl. And we've lost expression in all ways. And I know that it's not solely just in the solar plexus, but I do feel like a big part of our growth from chakra 1, that tribal area, we pop into this world and we've had all these other expansive lifetimes. And we're like, well, so what are we doing here? I'm sure we've had some not so awesome lifetimes too. So, I mean, I love Earth. It's so beautiful, especially now that I've been to the Space Center. I feel like I'm up.
Oh, that's really cool.
It's now I want to go to space just to look back on the Earth. But I'll probably do that with pictures instead. So, and I feel that, we come in and we're just trying to figure it out. And then we explore like intimacy first with ourselves even, and that starts to awaken the second chakra. And then it becomes, that flow of creativity. And that's a little child just like kind of playing with arts and crafts and things like that. And then we go up to this third chakra, and then we start to get a bunch of push down and a bunch of pushback if we hadn't already gotten it from the first 2, right? Where we've got to hush, little girl. And not only does that affect that solar plexus, but it also affects our throat chakra, depending on how that plays in us. And then we start to, as we've talked about, get this collective, I'm not good enough, I'm wrong all the time. And the one that we played with on Tuesday, nobody likes me. And we do know you know, that these are like layers that we're putting on top of what really is true for us. And how do we know that? Because my guess is if you're alone doing your old whatever you're doing, what do you want to guess that you're actually like, oh my God, I love myself. I'm having fun. I'm in joy. Like you're not like, oh my gosh, I'm so wrong. So this work is really about us looking at what are some of those layers that might be blocking us from taking actions that could create wealth, money, abundance, and even what I like to call profitability, right? Where you have this kind of extra. And I feel that, you know, we go in and we try to put an extra layer on top of ourselves on, no, that's not true. I am good enough. I am. Where really what we're doing is just adding to another layer. So there might be a layer that at the core, you know you like yourself, you know you're good enough, but as soon as somebody else interacts in your world, then there's this other circle. I almost like look at them as little circles, since that is like that golden circle. Then you have like a little bit of it, and then you'll be like, that's not true. I've done all this personal development work, and then there's this other layer on top of it, and these layers and these layers and these layers just keep going. And in Access Consciousness, they call that nucleated spheres.
Yep.
And I would like today to start the process of doing whatever we can to not peel this onion to get down to earth and pop
All of it.
all of this.
So basically, when you look at a nucleated sphere, basically what it is have you ever had one of those bubble chambers and you pop one bubble and then like 3 more show up, and then you pop that one and it's like 3 more show up? So basically it's like every time that we keep trying to pop that bubble in just by one off, right? By thinking, oh, this is like, I've done it. I did it through personal development, and you're really not going to the crux of it. So here, what we're saying again is what Jeneth was saying is that we want to do the facets where every single piece, it collapses together.
Yep.
And so you don't have to hold on to that, even still, to take that a bit further. When in scripture and in some of the information that we get from ancient writing and through tales and whatnot, we do, we have the name that's been given to us of God, right? So it says Yahweh. I can't even say it right, but basically the same thing is like Yahweh or that. And basically the way that Yahweh translates is to the word I am. And therefore anything, and you've heard this before, I'm sure, anything that we put the word I am with, right? So I see on the chat says, I am worthy, I am capable. Well, if we are pre-programmed to stay in fear and unworthiness, and you're running around saying, I am fearful, I am unworthy, I don't think I'm enough, I am not capable, then you are making that so, and you are calling upon and the word is, you are calling upon the creative power of God within you the minute that you put anything together with the word I am. So think about how powerful that is as yourself as a creator. Now, conversely, with empowerment, you can think about I am capable, and that takes you to a whole different sphere.
Yeah, but I was going to go a little bit different.
I know you are. And it takes you to a different sphere. So all I want you to do is just be with the energy of those two things as we're exploring this, and to remember that this is not only something that we are bringing forth in a lesson. This has been repeated throughout
she
time.
said something there that I just want to point out. It's the energy of it. It's the frequency of it. And I think that a lot of people just think if they think it, then it's happened. No, that's not true. To actually bust one of these nucleated spheres, you've got to be the energetic frequency in both the electrical and the magnetic. and then you've got the top of that sphere. And sometimes when you're saying just in your head instead of being it, what is happening, you're trying to prove it to yourself. You're trying to prove it to others. You're trying to like put a pretty bow on the top of it to make yourself feel better. What I'm saying is, we're going to play with you getting into the magnetic frequency of it so that it doesn't have to be this layer upon layer upon layer. The reason that you're putting these layers upon it is because you actually know it's not true. So all the places and spaces where you're still in the place that you think it's true, you're not sure it's true, but maybe it's true. Would you be willing to store and uncreate everything that is, please?
Yes.
1, 2, and 3. Dude.
That's got charge.
Yeah. Wow.
It's got hidden subtlety charges as well.
Yeah.
Dana was right on it. She says, being it, right?
Yeah.
And Joe says, what do you believe versus what is a program? Yes. But yes, and Joe's been with us for a little while.
So believe is also a program often. You need to know it in your knower.
I know
right?
he knows that.
I know. I just want to point that out for the rest of the group, right?
Yeah. I was just going to say that.
So I wrote a book. It's called 7 Dragons, A Guide to a Limitless Mind. And there's a dial, like literally a graphic in there. And I'm like, well, do you believe that you can swim a lap in the pool, or do you know you can? And so with all these things, you've got to get back to that frequency of that knower. I know it like I know, without thinking that and actually being the frequency of that.
I'm like, that's great, Jeneth, but what about the times where you're opening up a bill and it's like, you know what's in your bank account, you know that it's not going to be enough, and you know that like you're like, I just don't know which way to turn, and I have been, you're creating all this
right,
and I'm like, I know it, right? So in my mind I'm like, I know it, but here I'm looking at this different reality. So what do we do in that case?
Well, that's a different space. And I talked with her early about my husband on the trip. His computer crashed, so he had to take vacation instead of working while he was visiting his mom and his sister. And I said, he's got this layer of frustration.
Sure.
This is where her question came from.
Yeah.
So he's like, in the other room trying to fix his computer with this like layer of frustration glowing around him everywhere. And it's like, I was saying with her, I said, that is it's in human design for manifesting generators. It's literally called the not me frequency. Like that is the go-to frequency of that. So I was saying, look, he could be, all meditative, and just be like, okay, that's step 1.
I'm laughing because I brought up the scenario because I've been in that scenario.
Well, so I would go to the bill.
Yeah, right.
Because
and I'm trying to be like, okay, I got this. We're gonna make this whatever.
Because all you can do in that case is go, and you can ask questions. And because one of the questions could be, was this something I had to have? Like say it was a replacement of my AC unit that was whatever, 20 grand or whatever, right? And you go, dang, I still can't pay this. Then you can feel bad about it and put a frequency inside of you where you're like, shit, I'm not good enough. Or you can go the other way, which would be force yourself to create the money.
Yeah.
Which is the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're like, well, here's a challenge in front of me, right? It's still another false.
Yes.
I want to call these false identities almost.
Yes.
Where at the end of the day, you just need to go, okay, I will take action where I can take action. And it just is what it is without having all the, what that brings up is how many times growing up did your parents have a situation like that? Maybe it wasn't voiced, but could you actually sense it as the oneness we
Oh,
are
yeah,
with
sure.
it in their body?
Yep.
So everywhere where you've entrained to the around this, would you destroy and uncreate all that that is?
Yes.
One, two. Yeah, and everywhere where you purposely go out of your body to entrain with some of these collective frequencies instead of knowing your crystalline light body nervous system, all that that is, would you destroy and uncreate?
Yes.
1, 2, and 3.
Let's talk about crystalline light body
Yeah.
energy.
I wanted you to.
So basically the way in which, so I got this as a download, and this came from Metatron that evening that I had a really great download. And some of it I wrote down, some of it I brought into the show already, but this particular one was basically talking about, it said, Lyanca, the way that you can view this is that imagine everything. So imagine we're in the field, right? And imagine all these little cross wires everywhere, right? We're all connected to everything, and it's a big, beautiful web, right? And then all of a sudden I get this unexpected bill, and I'm like, oh, and I know what's in my bank account. And I was like, great, trucking along. And all of a sudden I get this, this bill. Oh my God. What, and this, and I can feel it right here, right? Like my leg is all
down
down up, and my chest is all like messed up, right? And I feel it right here. And so right now, what that does when I go into that feeling, so think about that energy, right? Think of something that really charged you, like something that you're like, oh man, dang. What it does is it sends out this ping, right? So it's a very, very high frequency, it's a high charged ping. And what it does is it's a fiery ping. And it lets the universe know this is the frequency which I want you to operate and meet me at. And what happens is that the universe says, okay, yeah, I'll meet you at that frequency, and I'm gonna bring other things that match that as well, right? So instead of me having that freak out, what you can start to do is, yes, that we have them. The first thing you can start to do is within our body. So within our body is where we carry our nervous system. And of course, the nervous system is what happens to bring up that and sends out that ping, right? It sends out that fiery, like, ugh. And so when you have those moments, what you can do is you can start to imagine that and send it to the light. And you just start sending it to the light, start sending to the light. I know it sounds really cheesy, but you do it. And the reason why you do that is so that you can neutralize that. So you can catch those in the field, right? So, but the real reason why we want to start catching those in the field is because we want to be able to catch them within ourselves first, so that we're not even putting those out to the universe instead of having to go back and neutralize them. So mainly, like if you ever heard the words like, oh, it strummed my heartstrings, right? It's because those strings are lit. Right? They can either be lit for positive and beautiful frequencies that match the universe can match it in that way, or they can be hit with these really big and charged, fiery, negative. It's not really negative or positive. The universe doesn't care, right? All it sees is just that is how you're operating, and that is where your signature resonance is. And so now I'm walking around with the signature resonance that's all fired up and all mad and all these places. So what the immediate thing we have to do again is just go out and neutralize those first. So just calm those things down and just see yourself as sending that white light. Use the white light of your guides, of your source, and send that just to quiet it down. Eventually, the idea here is to start to do that within ourselves. So before we even get that ping of a really charged feeling or that frustration, we could take a deep breath, drop into our hearts, and ask for a different outcome. What is possible here? And the more that we do that, the more that we have, the universe will meet us where we are, into which we won't even create these situations anymore, right? Because, and then if you have those situations, and this is just another little like pro tip or whatever, if you are having those and you're having them often and you just can't really get your mind around like, oh, I've got to neutralize, then pretend and re-see those, replay the entire thing in your mind as as a play.
Yeah,
in the
but
middle
like
of the night,
change the narrative.
correct. So in the middle of the night, you're just going to receive the entire thing. And instead of me seeing not enough in my account and having a freak out, I imagine myself having the money to easily just write a check and pay for it and be so excited that I have a air conditioner that went out, right?
Right.
Because I have a beautiful home and I have an air conditioner.
Yep.
And so then I'm sending love and light to the whole situation, which in turns, our minds don't know the difference between
what's
reality
real and
and between what's real and what's not real. And so basically what it does is it tells my brain, this is the universe in which I would create. And the universe says, okay, yes, your wish is my command.
Yep.
Anyway, that's crystalline light nervous system.
Well,
so basically,
that's a piece of it.
yes, one piece of it.
Well, what I mean, the whole reason we have chakra harmonics is to kind of keep your nervous system like easeful so that you're like in the Zen mode, and then you look at the bill. And then you don't have as strong as of a charge going out. Because you're already in this relaxed state. I mean, that is what what meditation and hypnosis give me.
Yes.
Is this kind of Zen-y feel all the time, so that when there is a big charge that is happening, that's a reaction, not an actual chosen frequency, then it already goes out a little more calming, so to speak.
And I'm glad that you brought that up.
And I think so there's more pieces than both of these too.
Yes, and I was going to say, one of the ways in which I do use our chakras is the harmonics that we have is actually because I've had some moments where definitely got charged on a couple of things, and I'm like, you know what, I don't know what I need in this moment, but I'm going to listen to this, and I'll play it in the background, and immediately that's what's sending out that neutralization of that ping, of that charge frequency. It helps to neutralize that within my field, and I know it works because we have a sound engineer that came and worked with us to get it done, but I know because it changes my energy. It changes the way in which I am reacting. And I know because I also have a different flow. You can hear it in my voice, everything. But before I had that, let me tell you, there have been some times where I'm like, I don't know what I need right now, but I need something. I need. Yeah.
Well, and that's what, and then on I've got.
No, go ahead. I don't want to interrupt anymore. Go ahead.
No, you're not interrupting. This isn't my show.
No, I just wanted to make sure that how people can see that in these things play out in real life and how we actually use these tools. Like, I mean, really use these tools.
I use this all day, every day, right? I'm hoping you guys too. I mean, as somebody who does meditation and hypnosis, it's kind of nice just to have something that's kind of running in the background doing things. And so let me just tell you, one of the things that's in Clear the Noise is it really talks about acknowledgement. And, so it's got these 10 lessons, and it also, instead of frequencies, we use white noise frequencies within it. So sometimes the lessons then match up with the frequencies. And what I love about it is sometimes we just forget to acknowledge ourselves. Sometimes we forget to say, wow, I actually have changed. I actually have jumped timelines. And there's lessons within here that's just helping you really integrate these on so many different levels so that your resistance and reaction is less wavering, let's just say. And I don't know about you, Lyanca, but I can tell just having these conversations every single week has made me a lot less reactive.
And
then it also brings up a slew of other things that then are, really high personal development things. That's like, okay, we still need to look at these just a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's, I'm free.
Right.
So that's like something that I used to always say, what do you want to be? It's like, didn't really care about a lot of things, but I did want to be free.
Yes. And you know what, when you
free to be.
Yeah. When you survey people, lots of people will come back and say that they want to be free when you get back to the underlying value of what they really want to feel like in their lives. Yeah.
I like that word, distractor energies.
Dana.
Yeah.
She
Thank-
says it took me a while to neutralize a lot of those. It took lots
Yeah.
of grace. Girl, me too.
Wow. Yeah.
Still working through, right?
I mean, in access consciousness, they actually say blame, shame, regret, doubt, guilt.
Guilt.
Those are some of the ones that are, distractor energies. And now I really get it, that this is like, all of these are just keeping us from being that crystalline light body that we actually are.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. I mean, look, we remember that we have a body,
Mhm.
and the body will have these mechanisms in which to keep us safe, right? So we have this fear, this flight or fear and fight mechanisms in which we needed to use for survival. And many times, whenever we start to go into those places and where we have that big charge, is because for my brain, for my body, from my neurological standpoint, my body thinks, oh my gosh, something scary is happening. And it immediately goes into the reaction of scary something,
Yeah.
right? Because it thinks it needs to protect me, in which case I need to have either run or fight or, play dead, whatever is needed here, right? And so those moments, instead, I don't really need to do that anymore because it's not a lion coming after me, it's a bill, right? It might
Yeah,
be a different
or a
color
mother-in-law.
coming out, right? But it is not something that has to warrant the type of responses that our bodies have been conditioned for eons
Yeah.
to respond with.
Because you get a bit, you get the bill and you're like, I'm gonna be homeless.
Right.
That's what you're how you act, right?
It's ridiculous. Oh my gosh, yes.
And it's messing with our nervous system just in general.
Right. Because our bodies,
It's
and because
also
ourselves
making-
are trying to protect us.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
It's also making us sick, right? Like how
Yeah.
many
Yes, ma'am.
how many articles do we need to read on stress?
Yeah.
And what it does to the heart, what it does to our organs, what
Yeah.
it does to our body, and then the opposing side of the meditators that have really gotten a hold of this heart coherence, and how that's actually, when you're in those frequencies and those energies, it's actually healing. I know that I'm like preaching to the choir here, but I really feel like it's important for us to have these conversations, and not just have a conversation about it, but truly integrate this.
Right. What are those things that we're doing on a daily basis in order to really be that?
Yeah. And if you're not, why are you so addicted to the fight, flight, the trauma, and the drama that you don't want to go the other way?
Well, Jeneth,
because
I didn't know any different.
I don't think that's true always, though.
kidding.
I mean, how many, you don't have to raise your hands, but if you want to, you can. How many people have raised an article on sleep hygiene, right? They say, get away from your technology, get away from, and make things dark, like wear an eye mask, all the things.
Yeah.
And nobody does it. I mean,
Some people do.
Yeah.
Some
Or
people
they'll do like one or two things and be like, oh, then I slept fine.
I honestly have this belief that there are so many people that are actually doing all the right things, and I'm the one person that does it all wrong.
Dude, I've never needed help sleeping anyway, so I'm like a rock. Yeah.
But
I'm also highly meditated.
That's true. That is very true. Yeah, right. So what are those tools in your toolbox that you can pull out? I say this every time, that you can rely on to pull out.
Yeah.
That'll get you back to that neutral state. That'll start to bring you into that fifth, because really that's what is needed here. If we wanted to create, basically the reason why it takes, why are we on Earth? Like why we have Earth experiences, because obviously to do the karmic thing, and then also if we were
The karmic thing, we got to do that karmic thing. It's
that
just what it
lesson,
is.
right? And why we forgot. But the other thing that we have to realize is that if we manifested everything in the way that we could when we are with Source, because we're always connected.
Yeah, when we're in our crystalline light body.
Right. We would be manifesting with the speed of light.
Yeah.
And do you, right now I'm
just
thinking of a
what we really
camel,
want, right?
Right now I'm thinking of a camel. Do I really want a camel sitting here in the studio with us? No, I don't. But it does have that delay for this exact reason, so that we can experience all of the things that we are bringing into perception and creating in this reality.
Wow.
So when we, but in order, now that we're going into 5D and we are ascending, we do need to have more autonomy over our crystalline light body, because we are now moving into a faster timeline of manifestations. I think many people are noticing that because how fast everything feels, right? You feel like everything kind of starts to be very instantaneous. So while we have that, the other part of that is we have to be able to match that resonance within ourselves, so that we're not manifesting, I was gonna say shit all over the place, but even if we do manifest, we're truly manifesting with intention, and we are doing this from a place of neutrality. That it doesn't have to be a place of what in access consciousness is called a beyond, right? The freak out, the charged energies, like I would have always put out. I didn't know any different at the time. And yes, there was a level of addiction to the trauma. I thought that was how you operated within a family or within life. I still sometimes find myself creating drama, and trauma is just to prove that I can get myself out of them. Everything that is
like a challenge.
Really destroyed and create, and you too.
Everywhere where you like a challenge.
That's right. That's right.
Especially when it comes to personal development, would you think that is? Yeah.
And take a breath. Everywhere where you're creating, not where you're uncreating money, so that you can prove that you can create money when money is needed right there in the flick of time, so that you can turn around and say, show yourself that you are a badass, but you didn't need to create that in the first place. Will you destroy and create that?
Yes, please. One.
Yes.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. That's my, we don't need to do that anymore.
Yeah.
And in fact, that is what is being called of us as we progress and ascend, that we would start to embody and neutralize our nervous system into creating more of the crystalline light body. Yeah. Nervous system.
Wow. Wow.
Anything that doesn't allow you to believe this is for you and everybody else, it's for everybody else, but not for you. Woo!
I don't know. I kind of feel like everyone thinks that it is for them.
Everybody on this chat, I know.
I know.
Oh,
everywhere where you're playing superiority, and it's like, I'm way above this, way beyond this. This is still limiting belief shit.
Yeah.
Would you destroy and uncreate everything that is?
Yes.
Because I like to do superiority in that way for a long time.
I love how you call yourself out. Thank you for doing that. Like, that's so cool that you do that on the show.
Because I've developed a vulnerability and a courage around this work, because I've noticed that with the more vulnerable I get and the more courageous I get. But yes, I'd like to do superiority and be like, that's not me. Do you also see the age that I was in just that little moment? Like a little girl.
Yeah.
Huh?
Right.
Like I was superior and right, and had righteousness right from the beginning.
Oh, how funny.
But I'm changing, man.
Yeah.
Changing here.
It's so funny because you and I complement each other very well, especially doing a progressive development. I come from like this other place of like, I don't know if I'm supposed to be like, I don't know. It's like always like kind of hidden. And me trying to be like, get to the place of like seen. And you're like, that's not me. Everything that
we had a whole nother call, just on this topic, because I was like writing up like the archetypes of different people and how people spend money, how people hoard money, and kind of the identity that they have around it. Yeah. And we'll share it around the summit or after the summit. But I've really found that the way that Lyanca does things is, it's kind of nice that we're like so close that we can share things, because it's so different than the way I do things. Yeah. And I kind of thought that a lot of people do things like me, or they're just being stupid. And I'm actually realizing that that's not the case at all. I'm the one that's being stupid in a lot of the places. I mean, because
Yeah.
I might be good at having money,
Yeah.
but I'm not free around the money.
Yeah.
I'm starting to become free.
I think
Just
I got
having
a little too
conversations.
free, later, like
Yeah.
more recently in life. And then even that is something, right? Even that is, what is too free? That's another identity, right?
Well, yeah, especially if you've concluded that about you.
Yeah, I just did right
Right.
now.
I mean, oh, really?
Yeah.
Kind of. Well,
Because
Gosh.
I also kind of grew up with the idea like I can make money, like so I will believe that I can generate because I'm a manifesting generator too, and so I've always been able to like, oh well, that's fine, I'll make the money out. And so because of that, and I've had really good success being risky. I've been risky. I will invest. I'll take a step back to make more money going forward. I've made big moves at a really young age and it worked. And it's really kind of been my MO, if you will. But now that's a different identity that could be sabotaging me in other ways.
Yeah.
Because again, I'm choosing an archetype around that and a belief system.
Yeah. I think there's also the people that just like don't even think what they're spending their money on.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
that's a whole nother category.
Yeah,
It's
exactly,
really
right?
hardly in my my archetypes that I wrote up. But yeah, I've been playing with my Arcturian channel, and I've been playing with what I know for personal development, and just kind of bringing in all that I know around wealth and money, and just was working with previous clients too, I guess. How they were doing money. And it's just, sometimes I've been on sessions there where people would like overbuy and overspend and have a money thing, and they'd even be hiding things from their spouse and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And I would think, oh, that's just stupid.
And see, and my nose crinkled. I was like, ugh, it's like a judgment.
Right. There's so much judgment, and it was just disgusting to even be a coach and feel like, oh my gosh, I actually have a point of view that they're wrong.
Oh, see, that's
and I would have to so talk about a facade, you'd have to put another facade over it so that it didn't seem that way, because it's like, ugh, thank God things have changed.
Yeah, it's funny how
an addiction to spending. I think that's, people like that's a worth thing.
Yeah.
Right. They shop, it feeds that dopamine, and then they feel better about themselves. They have something new to wear, they have new makeup, they got their hair done, they spend on themselves because they don't feel good enough without it. So that's another that thing. I'll make sure that one's in there pretty good.
Yeah, and it's funny because you said that about that, and I crinkled my nose about that spending habit when I wouldn't do that to someone that was dealing with a different type of addiction.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's interesting how money will do that as a simple, direct, different topic. And goodness.
Wow.
Everything that brought up. So you'd be willing to destroy and create?
Yes, please. Wow. Yes. I feel like it's like pulling from the depths of everything.
I know, it's like all up in here. Talk about being in your solar plexus. Like I can feel it all here. Just this simple conversation of all of it.
Yeah.
Because there's so much charge. And I think that we collectively have held that as for each other. And because money is it is its own energy, its own currency. And what happens is that there's a balance that's needed from all of humanity. And what happens is that some people play the role of X, Y, and Z, and the others play the role of maybe the feminine versus masculine. And so then we think that we have to come in and balance in places and subconsciously hold and carry the line.
Right.
There's also people that try to think that they have to carry the line for the people that are overly being maybe billionaires, right? Like, oh, I've got to be the person that's holding the line for the poor and holding the line for the less than because of all the greed that's happening out there. And what happens is that we start pulling that line and we start making it our own.
Yeah.
And then we create more places, and the universe says, yes, okay, fine. You are the person of poverty now.
Yeah.
Instead of celebrating other people's creations. I'll just put it at that. Because even still, there's still charge whenever I say, still celebrate other people's wealth. Wow, everything that is, we destroy and create.
Yeah, it's almost like we would rather not see it and be like, because there's this like jealous or envious crap around that.
Or
And
or it just feels like a yuckiness for some odd reason.
I know.
But it doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
There are lots of very, very wealthy people that are making we're doing really amazing things in the world. And the truth is, how can you create more of an impact? By having that wealth so that you can help out other people if you want to,
Yeah.
you know?
I mean, that's the value of having wealth, is to actually have a give back
Sure.
to and to keep the money in circulation.
Yes,
Jeez.
right?
I mean, we just need to keep the money moving instead of like collecting it all for ourselves. So,
Or choosing not to have it, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm not gonna have it because I'm not gonna be one of those greedies.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything that is, we destroy and uncreate, please.
Yes, please.
Yes, Dana's has definitely been there in the past.
Yeah.
Oh, me too.
Yep.
And there are still places where I find charges all the time.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to share, if it's okay with your permission, a little about what's in Clear the Noise, just so that you know it. I'm just going to put the link in the chat. It'll also be in the YouTube. And I just am going to go through some of the main buckets that I go through. And I think it'll open up deeper conversation too, if you guys are good. So it's in the chat if you want to follow along. But, I mentioned earlier that, really this all starts on this like grounded place of acknowledging you and acknowledging your gifts, the energy and the power that you have to change these gifts no matter who you are, right? Like sometimes we don't even feel good enough or worthy enough to like actually be like, wow, I actually can change the energy of that bill, right? We're like, oh, that's just hairy, fairy, wooey things. But what if you could acknowledge that you actually deeply knew that you could change your energy and really be able to have that frequency right away of that acknowledgement. So, I mean, so everywhere in every place that you aren't acknowledging your magic to change things on a dime when you have resistance, reaction, or even alignment and agreement with other people, would you be willing to store in and create everything that is?
Yes.
1, 2, 3. So that's module 1. There's a training on that. I think it's about 30 some minutes. And there's also complementary kind of a white sound frequency that I've requested of the universe to embed a 5th dimensional frequency to go with it. And then the second module is really about what I call knowing your gifts. And I think that if I were to write it, it would almost be like expanding your gifts. But this is really about knowing your knower. And really, so then you've got the acknowledgement and then you've got the knowing of it, right? So this is like really raw stuff.
Love it. Love it.
Module number 3 is about the invitation of receiving your creative ideas, receiving your frequency, so that you can create. So you could literally say, I'm choosing this for my highest good. I'm choosing this for my greatest good. And you can take actions in your life where you're actually following that creation. Module 4 is what's called choosing your future. This is really about, allowing that idea, that vision to come in and be able to just follow the dots towards your next vision. And then it gets a little bit deeper now. Then we go into module 5, which is connecting deeply. And what that means is connecting deeply with yourself, with your being, with your energy, as well as being able to, what we just talked about, like not have a resistance and reaction to people and their money, to people and what they're creating. But you're just so deeply connected that you really do understand that oneness.
I like that.
And then the next module is about embodying the art. And that just means the art of everything. And oh, this one's just so beautiful because it very much is like art. You see everything around you almost as art.
Yeah.
You see your outdoor as art
Yeah.
or lack of it. But it has that pull to create more as art.
One of the things we always talk about in just a few seconds
sure.
is that everything has consciousness, right?
Yeah.
Even the rocks outside. And I just found an article earlier today that says science is really, really coming back to this idea that everything has consciousness.
Mhm.
And I know me and you subscribe to that idea, and that really is embodying the art of this creation of what we what we can really experience when we start to see life as that beautiful art, as everything as consciousness, as supporting you if you wanted to. Yeah, isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Yeah, like this
I also have
microphone.
another module in here called Artful Living, which is kind of leads into the whispers, the whispers of that creative art. It's like, what is the art that you're creating? So they're a little bit different. In between these, we have overcoming control, awakening presence, being clear, and that is very much clearing the noise, like any other just nonsense that goes on in your head. And then I have some bonus modules on vision casting and that just have some meditations in this. So it was originally priced at $297 when it was brand new. And then it went down to $111 because I like the ones. But it's going to stand at this price, which is $47 if you
Awesome.
do want to indulge in. It's actually training stuff. So
It's
I wanted to let you know it's available for you. We'll have it out there. And I just, it's good. It's really good.
yeah.
So if you've liked frequencies and you've liked the chakra harmonics, then might be the next level that, a lot of you've bought all of them. So, we're just trying to keep our price points really, really low until we do a live event. And we're also going to do a live course. So those will be, really, truly interactive.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Whew, what are any other thoughts on the feed? Richard said, embodying art reminds me of my many years of serving as an art model.
Love it, Richard.
Love it.
I was vulnerable, yes, in front of people, letting my body be the art.
Funny you say that because I did that in college a year. I did.
Cool.
Just and that was mostly me wanting to do it for because it paid really well.
Yeah.
And
cool.
it was also I didn't care because I loved my body.
Yeah. Awesome.
No. That's so cool.
Our bodies are changing every quadrillionth of a second at least. Oh, I know.
Right.
And we forget that.
And we forget to acknowledge that as well.
Yeah.
Like we don't go, thank you, body, for changing and growing and healing fast. Absolutely. I have a little shiner on my face. I was cleaning the couch and I bent over and I hit my cheek right there.
Oh, well, it's like
it has a little makeup on it.
It's like having some plumpness go.
Well, you're like, why do you wear all this makeup today?
I don't see it, but that's funny.
I just thought you looked a little cooler. Like you get a little touch up.
I just got a little touch up.
Oh, I love it. But our bodies are so fascinating and they're just a good reminder of how beautiful they are and how sometimes they are still attached to these response mechanisms.
Yeah.
And how we can start to really I always say it's an attitudinal muscle. And every day that we choose to use our tools instead of always freaking out, fine, you freak out. Fine, you have those charged moments, but what is it that we do in order to get back to those neutral places? And eventually we'll have less of those moments and eventually we'll start to have less of that charge.
I know.
Isn't that really cool?
Well, I would have to say I have a lot less of the charge.
Yeah, you do, definitely.
Yeah. It's taken a lifetime, but I have it. And now I'm starting to finally hit this place of like, no, now let's really go. Let's really add speed. Let's really fly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Me and my dragons want to fly.
Yeah, y'all do. Y'all do.
Oh,
All right.
wow. So a couple things
For
for
next
this. Yeah,
week and next week.
it's exciting. So Monday, we have a full pack schedule. We have, gosh, I don't even know.
Hillary,
We
you
have
start with
Hillary, that's
Hillary
right.
Faye, which, yeah, and
And then we have Courtney Levins. So Hillary talks about, gosh, she's one of those that have been
she's talking hormones.
yeah, she does hormones. And basically, I mean, she's just a fascinating channeler. She's a fascinating speaker.
Mhm.
I think you're going to find her really, really dynamic. Just speaking with her in a little while, like the very short time I did, I was hanging on her every word. It was so cool. And she's going to be the first person to kick off. And then we have Courtney Levins, who's just so precise in the way that she can really, I mean, she can even pinpoint where you are, like in the world, like
Yeah.
it's so crazy. And she knows, and she can see all the different things about you. She connects with your, your spirit guides. She connects with spirit guides about your business and how you really utilize some of that information in order to like make the next steps forward. She gave us information about our business that, gosh, she was spot on now that I'm looking back to the last time we talked with her. And then we have someone at 2 o'clock. I didn't even put it up on my notes right now because I know we're going into this.
Well, we also have somebody on Thursday, Michaela.
Yeah, we do have Michaela on Thursday. And she's really, really awesome. She's actually working with other people that were like we've had on the show before, that they do things in order to balance the grid and to really anchor in this new new earth energy.
That'd be good.
I mean, gosh, she's worked with the University of Berkeley and created a psychic course back in as early as I want to say it was like the 90s. Basically one of the pioneers for mysticism, for these works, for channeling, for receiving information. I mean, I was on the phone with her for about an hour and I still was just asking more questions just out of curiosity.
Wow.
Because she's been such a pioneer in this work and really has these stories upon stories about how this is really taken off in some of the things that we've where we've come up with some of these, how we have received some of these messages for humanity. And it's fascinating.
Love it.
What else do we have? And then, I mean, we've got speakers lined up the whole week. So it's 3 a day. We start at 9 a.m. Pacific. The next one is at, well, I was going to say 12:30 Central, but it's every 15 minutes.
There is a whole lineup at houtehustle.com.
There you go.
Yeah.
And you'll get to see all their lovely faces and their talk topics. But I mean, we're just wanting you to mark this on your calendar. Make sure you're signed up for our newsletter, and you can get signed up if you're listening on audio. It's www.houtehustle.com. You can just search Haute Hustle on the YouTube. And you can also receive all of the information at our Instagram, which is Haute Hustle Live. So it's Haute Hustle Live, and Haute and Hustle, Haute is spelled HAUTE, hustle and .com. Even if you thought you signed up, go ahead and sign up again just so you can get all of the new downloads and the free gifts that we have available too. Plus you get all the newsletters.
And there's goodies being given away every day.
That is right.
For people who show up live. So
the whole thing is just really being about really taking this out into the stars and getting a really good galactic and from here and beyond and then back again experience, and to really activate. I mean, we have a lot of funny little cheeky and cheesy promos out with us dressed as like Star Wars and stuff, and we're having a good time just to get attention. But really, the messages are super profound. The channeling that you'll receive is going to be amazing. Come with your questions. They are ready to play, and there are a lot of really fascinating channelers are going to be on this show.
And just so you know, we have a new version of Mystique for the Visioneer in you. And we'll also be talking about that during the summit. And then I'm starting a Friday series within this new section of Mystique. So make sure you look for that as well. And you can meditate with me.
Well, all right, everyone. We love you.
Thank you guys so much. You have a great day, and we hope to see you on Thursday. Bye, everyone.